This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to DRTSPR show. This is Dr. Tangella Shivaprasad Reddy alias Dr. TSPR. Namaste, Adab, hello and a warm welcome to Gurutulyulu Balijepalli Subba garu, Guru Guru garu, Professor K. Pushatan Reddy garu kuda join gabotunnaru. An important issue in the extent the same series as we promised. Today will be a big exposure. What is biodiversity? What is heritage by government of Telangana headed by Kalvakunta Chandrasekhar Rao Garu. He himself is a revenue minister and the disaster management minister. And his own son, Kalvakunta Taraka Rama Rao Garu, he is a municipal administration minister because they have a large role to play as we have exposed in the last episode and even today's episode. Believe me, why Hyderabad is being flooded, why our lakes are disappearing, encroachments happening on nalas and all, and who is responsible for all this. So that will be a big issue, and he himself being revenue minister, so that is the reason why we are going to say mark this as a continued effort as we have exposed what is happening with biodiversity as well as heritage structures. Kalvakunta Chandrasekhar Rao garu himself is the revenue minister. His son being municipal administration minister, what is happening, how lakes are being encroached. Sir, namaste, sir. Shall I make you as a presenter, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. A big issue today, how lakes are disappearing and water and elephant will never forget their way, as we have been saying, and this will be another big exposure. How many shows since last 3 years, still there is no response from the government. They feel they'll make money, all those in the power are associated with them, they'll make money and vanish. Where will they go? Entire Europe, all the other continents are also either submerging or the extreme heat conditions, the climate crisis happens everywhere. Believe me, there is no escape. Please, sir, go ahead. ఇంతకుముందు వచ్చి వెళ్ళిపోయింది సార్.
వచ్చిందా?
వచ్చింది సార్, ప్లీజ్ గో హెడ్. Then you can enlarge this, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, wonderful.
ముఖ్యంగా ఈ సిరీస్ ఏదైతే గత 2 సిరీస్ మేము రిలీజ్ చేశాము, దిస్ ఈస్ ద కంటిన్యూయేషన్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్. అండ్ ద మెయిన్ ఎంఫసిస్ ఇస్, ఈ సిరీస్ పేరు కూడా కంచే చేను మేస్తే. ఎవళ్ళైతే గార్డియన్గా ఉంటారో ఆ గార్డియనే అన్నీ కబళిస్తూ ఉంటే ఎవరికి వెళ్ళి మొరపెట్టుకోవాలి అన్నది ప్రజా సమస్య కింద మారుతుంది. Let us look into it. What is that our so-called trustees of the governance of the state are promising, and why they are not able to fulfill anything, not even 0.1% of it, what they have promised. Why they are promising? If they know very well that they cannot fulfill the promises, they cannot stand by the promises, then why should they promise at all? This is dishonoring commitment, violations biodiversity heritage site Ameenpur Lake, a peri-urban case study. Last 2 episodes also covered the peri-urban zones, having butchered, degraded, destroyed the core cities. We have moved, we have expanded our territory from a 600 square kilometers to 7,000 square kilometers, Hyderabad Metropolitan Development Authority, without any planning. This development authority, it's not mandate for them to plan, it is only mandate for them to develop. How you can develop without a planning? That is the biggest joke of the 21st century. We have to look into it. Why, what, how people are giving the promises. Declaration of Ameenpur Lake at Patancheru Mandal in Medak district as Biodiversity Heritage Site under Biodiversity Act of 2002 notification, EFST Department, Environment, Forests and Science and Technology, GO 46 dated 18/6/2016. It is declared, and many people came out with several requests, and media also emphasized on it. What is the importance of a biodiversity heritage site? Why Ameenpur has been declared as the biodiversity heritage site? And what is happening? It is declared in 2016, and today 2023, and immediately after the COVID, what happened to this? Ameenpur Lake becomes the first biodiversity heritage site in the country. It's not only in this state, but it is the first biodiversity heritage site in the country. It has a lot of fauna, flora, and several people, reputed scientists, and well-known photographers came here shot, and they came out with wonderful, exciting photographs of the site. This lake also promotes the livelihood of the traditional fishermen here. Even today, the Sunday market at the lake, it vouches for that. It also promoted the pottery in this area traditionally. Today we don't see the pottery, but we see the fishermen still, pursuing their livelihood. And Ameenpur Lake dates back to the time of Ibrahim Qutub Shah, who ruled the kingdom Golconda between 1550 to 1580. According to one account, the tank was excavated to irrigate large public garden. This lake has huge big wetland area. The lake is now divided into two parts called Pedda Ameenpur Chinna Cheru. That is also called Kotta Cheru. Today, Ameenpur Lake has the distinction being the first water body, biodiversity heritage site, which is at a higher elevation than the channel. The lake brims with life, bar-headed geese, cormorants, ruddy-shelled ducks, grey herons, you name it. The teeming bird life was one of the reasons Ameenpur Lake caught the imagination of the average person. Birders, photographers thronged the lake to catch sight of flamingos, pelicans, cormorants, swallowing fish, or even better. This is a wonderful lake, and the Ameenpur, community. They have put up the boats to protect this. And let us look into it. What exactly is the Biological Diversity Act, which Telangana state adopted? Telangana state is known for its rich heritage in biological diversity, distributed in 9 agroclimatic regions. Among the flora, the state harbors a total of 2,800 taxa, belonging to 1,051 genera and 185 families. It has a rich, fauna and flora across the state. And, my friends, in spite of this act, we still fail to recognize the hotspots of the biological diversity in this state, which is an unfortunate. Though we have created a biological biodiversity board at the state level, but we are not able to. Telangana is known for herbal and medicinal plant species. Even around this lake, I am told there are several species which can provide a basic medicines to control the diabetes. Then what is happening? How many endangered flora have been identified here? Did anybody know? Biodiversity encompasses the variety of life on Earth. India is one of the 12 mega diverse countries of the world. India is a part to the Convention on Biological Diversity 1992. Please look into it. The country has signed it. The country made a commitment at the global level. So the Prime Minister has signed it. And it becomes the responsibility of all the heads of the state and the officials of the state to honor this commitment and adopt it and implement it. So, you see, it says biological resources through traditional knowledge. Did we document any of the traditional knowledge in the Ameenpur area? No. Practice and innovations? No. Then what the hell we were doing all these days? We did not bother about the patent rights. We did not bother about the traditional knowledge. Then why the biodiversity board for the state? Why we are paying public money as salaries to these officers? Public should understand this. We are losing crores, billions of rupees through the by not recognizing the traditional knowledge and the value of the medicinal and herbal plant species flora in this area. Biodiversity is a multidisciplinary subject involving diverse activities. Are we involving anybody except the forest department, which also knows today a limited knowledge on the terrestrial biodiversity? Forget about the aqua biodiversity. This is my challenge. Biodiversity is multidisciplinary. The stakeholders in biological diversity include central government, state government, institutions of local self-governmental organizations, and industry. The newly formed Ameenpur municipality, what is the degree of knowledge of these people, the chairpersons, commissioners, and all, on the biological diversity and the acts and the agreements the governments have made at the global level? I am sure they do not have any knowledge of it. Even if they have knowledge of it, they refuse and resist to honor it. It's time to put them behind the bars. One of the major challenges before India lies in adopting an instrument which helps realize the objectives of equitable sharing of benefits enshrined in the Convention of Biological Diversity. Are we extending this benefits to the local communities? Did the local community know about this? What is the percentage of awareness among the local communities on the potential, nurturing of the biological diversity? The central government, the act came in 2002 to regulate access to biological resources, to conserve sustainably used to respect, protect knowledge of local community related to biodiversity. Is there a biodiversity register for this municipality? I don't think. To secure sharing benefits with local people. Did the local people were sensitized on what kind of benefits they get out of this? Conservation and development areas for importance from standpoint of biological, declaring as biological diversity heritage sites, protection and rehabilitation of threatened species. How many threatened or endangered species are identified here? Maybe couple of them. Some of the people who are involved in the academic exercises might have done that, but it never goes into the execution or implementation process. Governments, in broad scheme of implementation of biological diversity, act through constitution of a committee. Where is the committee? During the famous annual bird race, Hyderabad bird watchers make a trip to this. They have found 186 species, up from 171 in 2015. The species are increasing. Local media, community, and scholars raised diversified initiatives in promoting the awareness of this sensitive ecological issue before wider sections of the society. This is not far off place. It's hardly 18 or 20 kilometers from the assembly. And what is that? It could have become an heaven. It could have become a international tourist spot. It could have become an annual bird watchers mela, and the local people could have got the extra benefit of central government scheme of you know transforming whoever willing to provide a guest accommodation, that is homestay facility under the government of India scheme. Everything is available. Then what is that, my dear great friend, the tourist minister, central minister is doing? Only shouting against the state governments? Why there is no intervention from the tourism minister from the central government to provide such homestay and provide you also had a rural tourism packages? Why we have not done this? This is so close to the city. People would have gone there and enjoyed it with children. Why? These are all the unsolved questions. On the contrary, the Huda, it all started with Huda and then the HMDA, and they are merrily selling the properties around the lake. Chakrapuri colony, laying a road in the lake. Is this the way we honor our own commitments? We do not even make any attempt to explore the potential to create employment, livelihood, and the tourism packages to the local communities. And today we are giving it to 40-storied building, 20-storied building without assessing the housing needs of this city. What nonsense is going on around in this city? And this gentleman claims, this land belongs to him under the UDA permission and all. జ్ఞాపకంగా మిగిలిపోనున్న అమీన్పూర్ చెరువు. Is it not a shameful thing?
It's a shame.
What is that the opposition parties are doing, or the great tourism minister from the central government is doing, or the tourism minister here is doing it? One of the senior most secretaries, IAS officer, he was also heading the tourism department, and he knows better. Then why he is not advising? Is it that our advisors are suffering from short memories because we have all old retired advisors around the chief minister? Why we cannot develop a second alternative way in the economic development through the conservation? Was there any debate on it? Every scrap of biological diversity is priceless. My dear honorable ministers and the principal secretaries, chief secretaries, please listen. Every scrap of biological diversity is priceless, to be learned, cherished, and never to be surrendered without a struggle, said by Edward O. Wilson, pioneer in the biodiversity research, declared that biological diversity is the oldest human heritage. All the physical heritage building, whatever you name, they came afterwards along with the other life form. This is the biological diversity, is the heritage which is witnessing the human development and the destruction by the human resources. Then what is happening to it? What happened to the universities around it? Huh? How many theses have come out of it? How many professors have taught about this? Huh? Nothing. That's good. Sometimes I feel, not recruiting the proper, teaching community. Maybe we are not getting an, well qualified, academics in this. Ameenpur, ఇప్పుడు అక్రమణలకు ఆ కాలుష్యాలకు నెలవు. Birds paradise lost. Squatters observe Shangri-La. Okay. The sewage is flowing into this lake. The GO 168 restricts it. Where are we heading to? The mainstream biodiversity, my friend Dr.
Even
Prabhakar.
even it shrinks from 300 acres to 93 acres only. Shame.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 300 acres to 92, and still it is reducing to 27 acres.
Very
Okay.
shame.
You see, he came out with a beautiful article. People's involvement, he emphasized on it. Are we involving people in the planning? Planning of Ameenpur? Last 3 days, Ameenpur reached its vulnerability because of a normal monsoon rainfall. It was not even an high intensity rainfall last 3 days. Only yesterday evening we had high intensity rainfall for half an hour, that is 30 millimeters. Otherwise, it was just a normal rainfall. Did we sensitize, educate the local communities on these vital issues? No. Is there any research special project that the state government or the central government and my dear tourism minister sponsored on this? No. And Huda allows construction of a road, splitting the lake into two halves. What a shame! Criminal. I once again through this channel request the High Court, the Chief Justice of High Court, to take this as a sumoto and inquire this by a sitting judge. This is horrible. This is the only lake which has been recognized as the biodiversity heritage site. And within no time we are killing it, we are violating ourselves. It is something like, making self goal. Ameenpur Lake attracts both acts. You see, this is very important. Sometimes happens, in one act there could be several lacunae, and people may, you know, circumvent and do all kinds of nonsense. But Ameenpur Lake attracts both acts: Telangana Heritage Protection, Preservation, Conservation, and Maintenance Act of 2017. Okay, this Telangana Heritage Act, it emphasizes on protection, preservation, conservation, and maintenance. Okay, and Telangana State Biological Diversity Act of 2015. Both, a very strong. You look at many a time the combinational synergy between two or more acts provide additional control for law enforcement. Resolutions: the building of planning guidelines for practicing legally acceptable options for protection of biodiversity can be supported through heritage insights. My dear friends who are practicing legal advocates, please look into it. We have more than 100 advocates in and around Ameenpur. This acts is a synergy, especially in Telangana, with the new enactment along the inclusivity of heritage, the mutual alignment of two legislated acts from union and state governments can deliver much tougher stance on the socio-ecological justice. This is very important. While the categorization of the subject areas jurisdiction becomes much clearer and planning process could certainly prepare a befitting objective. Do we have any planning process except for giving permission to the building and taking the kickbacks? Did anyone read about this, including the my great chief secretaries and others? Then how do we take? My humble request to the citizens of this city, citizens of this state, please look into it. With more emphasis to my dear friends who are in the legal practice. Please look into it. Why you are sitting without any response to this nonsense that is going on at Ameenpur? You have beautiful weapons with you, legal instruments. And you go around Ameenpur Lake, which is so-called biodiversity heritage lake. Everywhere you find this land belongs to somebody, and invariably you find belongs to some MLA. Around the lake, I can show you the photographs. What is this? And so proudly they also give the telephone number so that if you are interested to buy something, you can directly approach it. కంచే చేనును మేస్తే లెజిస్లేటర్స్ ఏమైనా ట్రైనింగ్ ఇచ్చారా అసెంబ్లీలో వాట్ ఈస్ బయోడైవర్సిటీ హెరిటేజ్ యాక్ట్ పైన లేదే in spite of combined fusion acts the Ameenpur Lake falling victim to violation of acts regulatory legal instruments to corrupt practices of vested land mafia and real estate forces hand in glove with vested groups in the governance system. Is it not a fact? Is it not a naked truth? Then how do we resist it? There is already a case going on in the NGT. NGT has already given an order for demolition of the illegal encroachment. But NGT should also come forward to take a sumoto case and review the acts, urban planning, and how do we protect and ensure this. It has become an Herculean task for a concerned citizens to tap the every door at every level to get the justice. It's time for the people to wake up. It's time for the citizens to wake up. Otherwise, Ameenpur will be under permanent flooding in the coming 1 or 2 years, and the flooding will be more with contaminated sewage than the fresh water. And the people who are the mute spectators of this onslaught, they will be held responsible for killing of numerous life forms under the water, which we have committed under the SDGs: life under the water, life above the water, sustainable cities, and addressing the poor poverty issues, livelihoods, economic things, new opportunities, partnerships. We are dumping all the 17 goals of SDGs in the dustbin of our great White House Secretariat. Please wake up, take out those documents, come forward, take a proactive step, conserve, protect, and once again show that Ameenpur is back and it is the only biodiversity heritage site of this country. Proudly announce it. My dear, this is an humble appeal to all my people in this state and the policymakers and officials, and also to the opposition parties, and a specific attention requested from the tourism minister, who is more busy in otherwise campaignings and all. Please look into it. This falls under your ministry only, sir. Thank you so much. I thank you, my friend Dr. Shuprasad Reddy, for giving me this opportunity. It is now or never. It's up to you whether you want to save our Ameenpur, the only uh, biodiversity heritage lake in the country, not in the state. Let us be proud of it. Let us revive it, and let us tell the world that we have this site. Please come. We can create. Not that we are paving a red carpet welcome to the industries which are giving money. We are This site can pave economic growth, stimulate it, can attract the bird lovers, wildlife lovers, everyone across the world. It has the history. This lake is more than 400 years, 450 years old lake. This is one of the 18 lakes of Bachpalli Bandam Komu watershed. We can teach on urban watersheds. We can teach many things here. Please wake up the universities, the so called academic institutions. Don't be so blind sitting in the air conditioned four wall structures. Make your students to go around the city and look for, expose more to the applied sciences, applied education systems. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Wonderful, sir. Let us take some questions, sir. I'll get you out of the presentation mode. Yeah. Yes, sir. Now, it is a big exposure. I think now I feel proud, and my channels, DRTSPR channels, very fortunate. In 2015 or 16, after Telangana government formation under Kalvakunta Chandrasekhar Rao garu, now even the entire cabinet, including Kalvakunta Taraka Rao, what is that you have to say? వాళ్ళు ఎక్కడ ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలా? జీవ వైవిధ్యం పురాతనమైనది, అత్యంత పురాతనమైన జీవ వైవిధ్యం గలటువంటి ఒక చెరువు, అమీన్పూర్ చెరువును మీరే ఆర్డర్ ఇచ్చారు కదా 2015లో 16లో. జీవ వైవిధ్యం గల అమీన్పూర్ చెరువు అని, అత్యంత పురాతనమైనదని, బయోడైవర్సిటీ హెరిటేజ్ సైట్ యూ హ్యావ్ డిక్లేర్డ్, మిస్టర్ కల్వకుంట్ల చంద్రశేఖర్ రావుజీ అండ్ Kalvakunta Taraka Ramarao garu, with all those ministers. Why are you not protecting it? Why are you allowing encroachments as is being seen? And why are you allowing your own departments under you, Hyderabad Metro Development Authority and Greater Hyderabad Municipal Authority, to give layouts permissions as well as buildings permissions, including roads, in the lake premises, in the lake itself and the catchment area? Now I ask you, sir, what is the problem if the government fails to protect? What would be the collateral damage for that area as well as for Telangana and India?
One thing is, It clearly gives an indication that a government which could not come out with a green plan for a small area of 15 square kilometers, Ameenpur municipality, how it can come out with a green plan for GO 111? People have to think of it. Okay, it's a golden opportunity to bring a convergence between the tourism, biological diversity, improving the livelihoods, and also create a new opportunities for the local communities. It's not that buildings. Yes, a builder will make money and somebody will buy it, but we have thoroughly failed in coming out with a biodiversity register of Ameenpur. Yes,
Yeah.
and how can I expect this government will come out with biodiversity register for 84 villages of GO 111, and this is much nearer to the city. It only shows government do not have the competency uh, in bringing out, do not have the people with expertise on giving, a growth planning through conservation. It's a shame they have not made anything. This is the same government which declared it in 2015, and the same government killing the entire thing and withdrawing from its commitments. What is
So now
that?
what is the main? Yeah, yeah. What would be the immediate damage or effect of this shrinking of Ameenpur, sir?
Shrinking of Ameenpur, it has the direct impact on its Bachupalli Bandamkomo basin, and this area is going to turn into a water disaster zone very soon. Already, in the last two episodes, we have shown how the backwater is flowing and how a 46 meters of floodwater channel has been reduced to 2 meters. We have shown it in the last thing, and
Yeah.
how the new constructions are coming under the inundations. In fact, I have the videos. The time does not permit, but as we promised, we can go one after the other in a
Yes.
series mode and show them. Today, we can say that peri-urban zone planning is totally wrong. It is driven by the real estate mafia with
Hmm.
funding of national banks.
How can national banks do that funding? We have shown Gatkeser also how they have mortgaged. Why still you think there is no action on that?
Yes, it's time. We need to get into uh, the modus of operandi in the banking sector, particularly looking into the risk management, which they were doing it quite a some time, and why they are not looking into the risk management today. They are only depending on the secondary evidences like PCB gives a NOC certificate and somebody. Why the banks are not building their own competency in conducting a risk assessments, because it is the banks. And
Again,
next
it is public
episode,
money. When you go for a loan, they go for so many links and all banks. How is that in these structures, in these cases of lake? One is Gatkeser Lake, now Ameenpur like lakes. When they are encroached, when they are builders go with a plan, how is that link document at least doesn't enlighten the bank legal system? Common man when he goes, they'll ask so many questions.
that is true. Because banks are, they're moving. away from their core responsibilities, and they are only looking for NOCs from the secondary departments. But secondary departments, like PCB gives the permission. Okay, to what extent PCB has the competency on talking on biodiversity heritage site? Does PCB has any information on the biodiversity heritage site? Does PCB has any knowledge on buffer zones and other acts? No. I
That
challenge
means
this
tomorrow,
through.
banks and all those officials who sanction, they have to pay. They will go behind bars along with
They
the
must.
GHMC and HMDA.
They must. They must. They are
Along
playing
and
with
how about
public.
GHMC and HMDA?
You see, another pathetic thing in all the local governing urban bodies, the layouts are sanctioned either by GHMC or by HMD. వీళ్ళిద్దరు పంచుకుంటున్నారు లేఅవుట్లు ఇవ్వడంలో. ఓకే,
Yeah.
what is the core capacity of GHMC and HMDA in giving the layouts, and what is the capacity of the local governing body on knowledge of these issues and all? హెచ్ఎండిఏలో ఎవరు ఉన్నారండి? రిటైర్డ్ ఇంజనీర్లు తప్పితే వరల్డ్ హెచ్ఎండిఏలో. జిహెచ్ఎంసీలో కూడా అదే పాడైంది. వీళ్ళిద్దరూ ఏం చేస్తున్నారు? లేఅవుట్లు వేస్తున్నారు. నేను డ్యూరింగ్ ది లాస్ట్ ఎపిసోడ్ ఐ హ్యావ్ షోన్ యూ దట్ in 2021 they have declared a lake as a residential zone, and 23 they have declared it as a lake.
Yeah, maybe frightening that the power party may not come back to power to save their
Yes,
skin.
and it's not my own words. It is the statement from the Niti Aayog through a recent report that none of our urban bodies have the competency in urban planning. There is no urban planning at all.
Niti Aayog gives such a big statement, but Finance Ministry controlled Reserve Bank of India and banks, they are sanctioning loans. See,
Yeah, you see, that is the irony. On one hand, as you said, RBI is sanctioning everything, and on the other hand, the people sitting in the power in the central they are declaring that they will give special schemes to uh, state governments for implementing these policies.
now HMDA and GHMC, now they are the local bodies. When they are giving permission, how is the Chief Minister's office? He himself is a revenue minister, and municipal administration minister is his own son. Are they not aware that the same government headed by KCR and KTR have declared Ameenpur as a biodiversity heritage site? Their own departments.
That is what ఇది ధృతరాష్ట్ర రాజ్యం లాగా ఉంది ఇది.
Hmm.
ధృతరాష్ట్రుడు అన్న వినేటోడేమో, ఆయనకి బాగా ఫంక్షన్ అవుతుండేనేమో, కానీ ఈ మన ఆఫీసర్స్ అందరూ కూడా అసలు ఇంటలేరు, చూస్తలేరు. ఇంకొకటి ఏమున్నదంటే, ధరణి పోర్టల్ ఏదైతే ఫామ్ అయిందో, ధరణి పోర్టల్లో అసలు చాలా మటుకు కామన్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ అసలు రిఫ్లెక్ట్ అవ్వడం లేదు.
Mhm.
These are all common properties, our commons, public properties.
Public properties.
This is not property of the elected government.
Yeah.
This is public property. Public should understand it, and public should protect it. I was wondering, why no advocate is coming forward on Ameenpur when it attracts two strong acts,
Yes.
heritage
Right.
and biodiversity. Why they are not coming forward?
And why High Court is also silent? Why it is not taking suo moto? That beats my
Yeah,
intelligence.
let us see. I request you, please keep this in the wider circulation. Either you may
Definitely.
have a threaten, or you may have a threatening calls, or somebody will
Who cares, sir?
appreciate and take it,
Who
and
cares? Who cares?
take this
Because
for a good cause. For a good
then
cause.
it is.
This is the only biodiversity heritage site in the country. We could not get Ramsar, endorsement for any of our lakes. But this lake we should protect, we should conserve, we should give it to the coming generations. And my appeal is, state government, if it is so serious, and it should come out with a public debate and explore the possibilities of issuing an ordinance and clear all those things and set the things right. I
And
still remember I have the newspaper clipping of the present municipal minister who said, if required, I think somewhere in 2016 he said it. I have the newspaper clipping. We will clear everything. Please
23 now,
explore
7 years, 7 years down the line.
down the
Second
line.
time you
Yes,
are
I,
elected.
I will. I will dig my documentation library and then get back to you.
Yeah, we'll keep them. And another interesting aspect is now the Kishan Reddy Garu, who is suppose he is the Union Tourism Minister. Now he becomes the Telangana BJP chief. Now, don't you think he is aware of this? Such a big happening on the biodiversity and heritage front of Ameenpur Lake.
And I cannot personally comment on this, but one thing,
We are not person,
personally,
nothing
no, no, no,
against him.
no, no,
No question of
I
person.
cannot, whether he knows or not, but
Not
thing
he,
is,
as a minister, his own minister.
as a minister, he immediately suspend all his advisors
Yeah, that's what I'm
because
asking. As a minister, nothing in
he
person.
has not been advised. And what is that? As a tourism minister, he contributed to this state. He could have contributed a great thing to the Ameenpur Lake.
Yeah.
I do not think that. I do not think, the present day ministers, policy makers, they are interested to know the information of their own constituency and know on their own subjects. That is the biggest problem in this country. Last, say, 20 years, the political scenario has changed. People do not know what is there in their backyard.
So they are carried
So,
away by the advisors, so-called advisors, who try to
and
give more.
people like you and me, conduct this. They will say, "Oh, give us a big report. We will take care of it." Chetabutala yeniki.
తెలుగులో
We are
లాస్ట్ సార్
giving.
లాస్ట్ లో ఇప్పుడు దీని వల్ల ఇప్పుడు ఈ ఈ ఈ విధంగా ఈ అమీన్పూర్ చెరువు ఈ విధంగా ఇంత పెద్ద చెరువు జీవ వైవిధ్యం కలటువంటి చెరువు అత్యంత పురాతనమైనటువంటి చెరువు ఆ రెండు చట్టాలు కూడా వర్తించున్నట్టు చెరువు ఈ విధంగా హెచ్ఎండిఏ కానీ జిహెచ్ఎంసి కానీ పర్మిషన్లు ఇచ్చి అక్కడ లేఅవుట్ ప్లాట్లకు బిల్డింగ్లకు పర్మిషన్స్ ఇస్తే దీని వల్ల ప్రభావం ఏ విధంగా ఉండబోతుంది ఒక 2 నిమిషాలు సరే
ప్రభావం ఒకటేమిటి అని అంటే ప్రభుత్వాల మీద నమ్మకం పోతుంది. అంటే నేను అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటివ్ కానీ మిగతా ప్రభుత్వాల మీద ఆ నమ్మకం పోతుంది. ప్రభుత్వ సంస్థల మీద నమ్మకం పోతుంది. ఎందుకనంటే ఎక్కడ కూడా కన్వర్జెన్స్ మీటింగ్స్ జరగాలి అన్నది ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ నుంచి మొత్తుకుంటూనే ఉంటాడు. మరి కన్వర్జెన్స్ మీటింగ్లో బయోడైవర్సిటీ బోర్డు, జిహెచ్ఎంసీ, హెచ్ఎండిఏ కూర్చొని మాట్లాడాలి కదా. వీళ్ళల్లో ఏదైనా కరస్పాండెన్స్ ఎక్స్చేంజ్ కావాలి కదా. సో ఫంక్షనింగ్ ఆఫ్ ది గవర్నెన్స్ మీద నమ్మకం పోతుంది. రెండోది, ఇది ఏమవుతుంది అని అంటే ఎప్పుడైతే ప్రభుత్వం మీద, ప్రభుత్వ పరిపాలన దక్షత పైన ఎప్పుడైతే నమ్మకం పోతుందో భూబకాసురులకి నమ్మకాలు ఎక్కువైతాయి.
ఓకే,
వాళ్ళ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ బాగా పెరుగుతుంది.
అంటే గౌరవ చంద్రశేఖర్ గారే రెవెన్యూ శాఖ మంత్రి, ల్యాండ్ రెగ్యులరైజేషన్, వారి తనయుడు కల్వకుంట్ల తారక రామారావు గారు పురపాలక శాఖ మంత్రులు, మళ్ళీ అక్కడ బిల్డింగ్ రెగ్యులరైజేషన్. మరి వారికి తెలియకుండానే అవుతుందా? వారి శాఖలకు తెలియకుండానే అవుతుందా? వాళ్ళకి తెలియకుండానే
అంటే
జరుగుతుంది?
బిల్డింగ్ రెగ్యులేషన్, ల్యాండ్ రెగ్యులరైజేషన్, బయోడైవర్సిటీ సైట్ల దగ్గర చేయకూడదని ఇంకొక చట్టం తీసుకురావన్నా ఎన్ని చట్టాలు తీసుకొస్తారు? ఉన్నదాన్ని సరిగ్గా పని చేయించుకోవచ్చు. ఈ రెండు జరుగుతాయి సార్. ప్రభుత్వం పైన, ప్రభుత్వ సంస్థల పైన నమ్మకం పోతుంది. మాఫియా గ్యాంగ్లకేమో వాళ్ళ నమ్మకం, చాలా కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ పెరుగుతుంది, మేము ఏమన్నా చేసుకోవచ్చు అని. మూడోది ఏమవుతుందంటే పబ్లిక్ వాళ్ళు దే బికమ్ బకరాస్. ఇవాళ ఇది రెసిడెన్షియల్ ఏరియా అని కొనుక్కుంటాడు పాపం వాడు, రేపు మునిగిపోతాడు. మూడోది City is already heading to a disaster. And Ameenpur will be the first peri-urban zone which very soon go into the water disaster. I will challenge this.
సో అమీన్పూర్ మునిగిపోతుంది ఆ ఏరియా మొత్తం.
మొత్తం కూడా ఎందుకంటే ప్రభుత్వం యాక్చువల్గా యూనివర్సిటీస్ కూడా చాలా చక్కగా ఇక్కడ స్టడీస్ చేసుకొని ఇవ్వాల్సింది. ఎక్కడ కూడా సమన్వయం లేదు. పెరి
కేంద్ర
అర్బన్
మంత్రి శాఖ మంత్రులు కూడా ఆయన కూడా పర్యాటక శాఖ మంత్రులు. ఇది పర్యాటకానికి పెద్ద పీట ఇది. ఆయన కూడా ఇప్పుడు రాష్ట్ర అధ్యక్షుడు అయినారు.
అంటే
వారికి కూడా వాళ్ళ అడ్వైజర్స్ అంటే వారికి ఉన్న వాళ్ళగా ఆయనకున్న సిబ్బంది వారికి సరైన సమాచారం ఇస్తలేరంటారా? ఎందుకంటే ఇది పెద్ద ఇష్యూ ఈ రోజు. ఆయన అనుకుంటే ఇప్పుడు అధ్యక్షుడు కూడా అయింది కాబట్టి ఇది ఒక్క ఇష్యూని తీసుకొని పెద్ద ఎత్తున ముందుకు పోవచ్చు. కానీ ఇప్పుడు ఆయన శాఖ దాంట్లో ఉంది కదా,
ఆయన వాళ్ళు పోరు. ఎందుకు అని అంటే నేను చాలా బ్లంట్గా చెప్తాను, వాళ్ళు ఇలాంటి ఇష్యూస్ దగ్గరికి రారు. అసలు కేంద్ర ప్రభుత్వం ఏమేమి పాలసీస్ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేసిందన్న అవగాహనే ఎంపీస్లలో లేదు. మనం ఏం మాట్లాడగలుగుతాం ఇందులో?
వారు యునైటెడ్ నేషన్స్ లో కూడా పోయి మనం మాట్లాడేసి వచ్చారు. అదే కాకుండా మనం 111 జీవో చూస్తే ఏ రాజకీయ పార్టీ కూడా 111 జీవోను పెద్దగా వ్యతిరేకించినట్టు కనపడలేదు మనకు.
దీని గురించి ఎవరన్నా వచ్చినా
because of the money which they get from real estates, or they themselves are the real estate owners as well as builders, at the cost of this natural resources looted, and people will suffer. All encroachments will lead to flooding, as we have seen in Bengaluru and what is happening in Old City, in different parts of Hyderabad and many cities across India. How do you think that these political parties or politician turned real estates or builders are not getting sensitized?
No, you cannot expect from them. There is no sensitization only. Okay, either they must be set right through the effective regularization. Okay, and number two, if you cannot effectively, strongly implement it, satirize the things through the ordinance. That is the only way. And equally, I appeal to the citizens that, it is your problem, your hard earning money and your children's future. Let the residential welfare associations, come out with an open debate. It is right time to endorse and to show people's power.
Right, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Manchi issue malli. Now it is the right time for all the welfare committee associations, residential welfare associations, to come forward to start debating where should we buy, which plot we should buy, which so and so builders sites are clear from all encroachments of lakes and nalas, and what is the role of a citizen under article 51A as to how should we protect our own resources. Otherwise, all our hard earned money, if you invest in such ventures, if not today, tomorrow they will be demolished. If not this government, tomorrow any other government has to go for it. We have seen Supreme Court passing orders when it violated coastal zone regulations in Kerala, and Gurgaon, what happened, multi-storied complex, and in Mumbai, even the Navy and all were there. When they violated, if not today, tomorrow they will demolish everything. But in doing so, by occupying these water bodies, are we not contributing to the flooding? What is happening in Hyderabad, nook and corners? Firanginala, Old City is Chandrayan Gutta. He is the opposition leader in our Telangana State Assembly. That area inundates. It's getting Jalpalli, it's getting flooded. A small rain, stormwater drains overflow, sewerage drains overflow. Why? Because you are constructing houses, commercial complexes, so and so forth. You are distributing lands helter skelter, which are water bodies to the industries or builders or for real estates. In doing so, water and elephant will never forget their way. They will come there only. When it happens, the entire area is flooded. ఎక్కడైతే నాలాలు చెరువులు గొలుసుకట్టు చెరువులు అన్ని కబ్జా కాబడతాయో నీళ్లు వేణుకు దాని దారి మరవదు, అక్కడికే వస్తుంది. కాబట్టి ఈ వరదలు వస్తూ ఉన్నాయి గత 3-4 సంవత్సరాల నుంచి. ఎందుకంటే ఈ 4 సంవత్సరాల్లో విపరీతమైనటువంటి కబ్జాలు ఆక్రమణలు జరుగుతూ ఉన్నాయి. ఎప్పుడు లేనంత ఆక్రమణలు ఈ 4-5 సంవత్సరాలు జరుగుతూ ఉన్నాయి. హైదరాబాద్ చుట్టూ ఫిరంగి నాలా నుంచి మొదలు పెట్టుకుంటే ఇప్పుడు అమీన్పూర్, మనది ప్రసిద్ధి కలిగినటువంటి అమీన్పూర్ కూడా మాయమైతే అక్కడ నుంచి మొదలవుతుంది మునగడం. జోషిమఠ్ ఎట్లయితే సింకింగ్ అన్నామో అదే విధంగా హైదరాబాద్లో అమీన్పూర్ ద్వారా ఫిరంగి నాలా ఎట్లయితే ఇదయిందో మిగతా గొలుసుకట్టు చెరువులు అన్నీ కూడా ఆ రోజు 1908లో ఆ విశ్వేశ్వరయ్య గారు పుణ్యమాని అప్పుడు వచ్చిన వరదల నుంచి హైదరాబాద్ను రక్షించడానికి గొలుసుకట్టు చెరువులు, హిమాయత్ సాగర్, ఉస్మాన్ సాగర్ మంచి ట్యాంకులు కడితే వాటిని అన్ని ఆక్రమించుకుంటూ వస్తే దానికన్నా ఎక్కువ ప్రళయం మనం చూస్తున్నామా లేదా? ప్రజలు కొట్టుకుపోతున్నారు, ఆస్తుల నష్టం. ఏ విధంగా బతుకుదాం? పీపుల్ ఆర్ గెటింగ్ వాష్డ్ అవే, లూజింగ్ ప్రాపర్టీస్. లైఫ్ కమ్స్ టు ఎ స్టాండ్ స్టిల్. What shall we do? Start questioning. Start questioning from Ameenpur, all the lakes in and around Hyderabad. Why Kalvakunta Chandrasekhar Rao, who himself is a revenue minister, his own son, he is a municipal administration minister, Mr. Kalvakunta Taraka Ramarao garu. How are the permissions being given to the layouts by Hyderabad Metro Development Authority or Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation, in spite of knowing that these are nalas, these are lakes, these are biodiversity heritage structures? How dare they give? Is it with the official support? And who is going to take the blame tomorrow? Who is going to suffer tomorrow? You and me investing money in such ventures and buying such hard-earned money. The present is gone and the future of our children is also gone. I only hope people will wake up, the concerned citizens will wake up. Otherwise, it will be too late. Last 4 years, Hyderabad is a witness. Likewise, Bengaluru, Mumbai, Delhi, now Himachal Pradesh, before Uttarakhand. Every city is a witness. And in the name of development, if you want to encroach water bodies, destroy forest and reserve areas, can we survive? In whose interest this development? Is it for commissions? Is it for fund to the political parties? Think. It is your life. It is in our hands. Think of the present. Otherwise, your future is gone. Nothing will be left for your kith and kin. As warned by Subba garu, he has challenged the government that the peri-urban area sinking will start with Ameenpur. And the central government, Kishan Reddy garu being the tourism minister, how is that his own ministry doesn't notify such a big biodiversity heritage structure in Hyderabad as Ameenpur Lake? How is that they have not given information to him? Now he is the BJP's Telangana chief. What is that he is going to do? And why Congress is silent, even right from 111 GO to everything? Aam Aadmi Party and All India Majlis Ittihadul Musliman, it is a friendly opposition, and you have seen the destruction of old city, how it is happening. They are very silent. So at least now people should rise. Prajalara Melukonandi, Nagarikul, हम यही चाहते हैं कि नागरिक आप जागो. अच्छी जानकारी हम दे रहे हैं आपको, जान जाइए, जागो, वरना हमारी वर्तमान खत्म. इसके साथ हमारे बच्चों के लिए देने के लिए रहने के लिए कुछ नहीं रहेगा. सब कुछ डूब जाएगा. जिस तरह ये तालाब सब कुछ कब्जे होते जा रहे हैं, और अमीनपुर भी ऐसी एक बड़ी साइट, बायोडाइवर्सिटी और हेरिटेज साइट को भी खत्म किया जा रहा है. क्या होगा हमारे हैदराबाद को? इसीलिए हम कहते हैं कि హైదరాబాద్ కు బచాओ, సేవ్ హైదరాబాద్. హైదరాబాద్ను రక్షించండి. అది కేవలం ప్రజల వల్లనే, పౌరుల వల్లనే అవుతుంది. ఎందుకంటే ప్రతి ఒక్క పౌరురాలు ఒక రాజ్యాంగ వ్యవస్థ. ఇట్ విల్ ఓన్లీ సిటిజన్స్, बिकॉज सिटीजन्स themselves आर द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अथॉरिटी, क्योंकि हर एक नागरिक एक संविधान है, हमसे ही होता है, क्योंकि हम संविधान है, बाकी के सब कुछ वो लोग हमारे सेवक है. వాళ్ళంతా ప్రజా సేవకులు. దే ఆర్ ఆల్ పబ్లిక్ సర్వెంట్స్. వై డు యూ ఫియర్? రైజ్ అబౌవ్, స్టార్ట్ protecting your present so that the future for your kith and kin will be safe or else safeguarded. Thank you very much, sir. We'll come back in series. Definitely his own dialogue. ऊपर से शेरवानी, अंदर से परेशानी.
Right.
ये है हैदराबाद की हाल. हम यही चाहते हैं, इस तरह की विकास चाहते हैं. तो ऊपर से शानदार दिखता है, शेरवानी है, लेकिन अंदर से परेशानी. हर साल यही बाढ़, हर साल यही डूबना, हर साल हम इसी तरह चर्चा करते रहेंगे क्या? सोचिए. थैंक यू वेरी मच, सर.
Sure.
Do support DRTSPR channels, Environment People DRTSPR channel, and Citizens DRTSPR channel. They're all in larger public interest, and this show will be really telecasted on Environment People DRTSPR channel again. Thank you very much.